Welcome to Alice's channel. Today we're going to be freeze drying potatoes. First, we need to wash and boil the potatoes. After they have cooled down, we're going to be peeling them, and after we're going to be cutting them into thin slices. You don't want them to be too thick or the processing time in the freeze dryer will be much longer. Once the trays are filled, I'm going to be pre-freezing them for about 6 hours. Once frozen, we're going to be loading the freeze dryer with the potatoes. Please know that pre-freezing is optional. You don't have to do that step, but I like to save time on the freeze dryer and I usually freeze them overnight. Once the process is done, in this case, it took a little bit over 25 hours, but it took this long also because I added some additional drying time in case I'm not home when the process is done. And as you can see, the potatoes are completely dry. When you break them, they are brittle and they simply turn into a very nice fine powder. I am going to be making these potatoes into powder. This is mainly to save space and because I know that I am going to be using these potatoes for mashed potatoes, but you can bag them just as they are in slices, although it may take a little longer to reconstitute them, especially if your slices are a little bit on the thicker side. At this time, it is optional if you want to add salt and spices during the blending process. I prefer to do this at the end. That way I can add whatever spices I want once I'm ready to reconstitute the mashed potatoes, but you can do it either way. One recommendation for people like me that live in a very humid area is to make sure you have everything ready, the containers that you are going to be using, so you can immediately put them in the container or a mylar bag. That way the potatoes do not absorb too much moisture and they can get a very long shelf life. You can also place the tray lids as soon as the potatoes come out of the freeze dryer. This helps as a barrier for humidity. I like to leave them as it is. If you prefer to have them more into powder, just blend them for a little bit longer. Whether you're using mylar bags or mason jars to store your potatoes, make sure that you add an oxygen absorbent to extend the shelf life of the product as much as possible. However, if you are going to be using them for the midterm or short term, you can simply vacuum seal the jar. To reconstitute or rehydrate the potatoes, we're going to be using 2 parts water times 1 part of potatoes. You can use regular hot water or milk. In this case, I'm just using hot water. This is the time where you can add all the spices and other ingredients you want to use. I do not have any fresh cheese, so I am using some freeze-dried cheese I had available. I'm just using salt and pepper, but you can add anything else you like, basil, oregano, thyme. It's up to you what you want to use. You can also add more liquids depending on the consistency that you like. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.